So, hi, good evening, everyone. We are welcoming you to our webinar titled AI and MBA Synergy Assisting Innovation and Problem Solving. Imagine for a world where data driven insights are at your fingertips, where complex market trends are be predicted with precision, and where strategic decisions are optimized by intelligent algorithms. We are thrilled to have you join us for this insightful discussion on how AI is revolutionizing decision making, strategy, and operations in modern business world. Today, we have Mr. Lalit, who is an IIT alumnus and co-founder of Advancer, currently working with us as Director, Center for Artificial Intelligence at UPES, and Mr. Sandeep Das, who is an expert in digital transformation with more than 19 years of experience in driving organizational success and maximizing business growth across diverse business sectors. He has an experience with organizations such as Bosch, Arvind, global university systems in the and expertise in the region of automobile, fashion, textile, education, and consumer goods, etc. So, without wasting any of your time, I would just quickly come to Lalit and ask you the first question: that what is AI and how it is helping businesses?
Oh, so you started with a tough one. So I'll come out right and say that AI is not just chat GPT. That's the discussion generally is around. And I would like people to understand AI from a more broader perspective. We are living in the era of unicorns and very fast moving workforce. And the era of unicorn brings in with where the market size and the consumer size transactions happen in millions. And the workforce is in thousands, and people don't stay at one place, and for all the right reasons. I'm not criticizing that. Say 2, 3 years and so on, majority of the people. So businesses need to be very process oriented. They cannot be people dependent a lot. Of course, at the top levels, that happens. The nature of decisions at top level is different. But these day-to-day decisions that businesses have to take, they need to be very data oriented. Given that a large amount of data is being gathered, they cannot be people oriented, and that is where AI comes in. So, if I were asked to, define what AI is, I'll say AI is a way to automate decision making process partially or completely using the data that an organization gathers. So, from that perspective, AI, some visual dashboard which helps people making at the top making decisions is AI. Some predictive model which enables you to predict fraudulent transactions, that is also AI. AI is not just some very complex machine learning model. Anything which using data helps you automate decision process partially or completely is AI. Yeah, that's my take on the answer to how it is revolutionizing. I think we will be able to answer that in many parts in the entirety of this discussion. So let's wait for that. Shantanu, somehow you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry. And now here I would like to bring in our second expert, Sandeep, into the discussion. And I want to ask Sandeep that how artificial intelligence is being currently integrated in MBA programs, especially the online MBA programs, and what are the key benefit of this integration?
Yeah, thank you, Shantanu. Fundamentally, I would say, as Dalit has already mentioned about what is AI, I would also like to further extrapolate on that in terms of how AI is being spread everywhere. When we call it as a general purpose technology, which has been used everywhere, it is hitting every sector. So it is integrated in education also, it is integrated in healthcare, it is integrated in finance also. So the use cases are spread so wide, nothing is left unimpacted, is what I can say. Now, if you talk about how it is integrated with the online MBA courses, we talk about personalized learning. for the student, when we are talking about the AI is used as a tool to create a personal specific learnings for the student. Be it you talk about learning platforms. The learning platforms are also developed in terms of identifying student weaknesses, student strength, and customizing that requirement for that particular need. We talk about automatic grading. Now it focuses more on not just checking of the papers. Many of the AI tools can be used to auto grade the paper. So the faculties are able to focus more on value added activities in terms of teaching. We talked about virtual classrooms, or we talk about student connect, wherein the student engagement or the student experiences are enhanced through various chatbots. We have lovely examples wherein it is not a dumb chatbot which is answering, but which has a intelligence embedded in it, so that is the answers are more relevant to the question which is being asked. Now, if you talk about, and that's how AI, I would say, is integrated with the online MBA program. The benefits, of course, there are huge benefits. Why the student should undergo for this. Enhanced decision making. You talked about, Lalit spoke about the data part of it. A student who undergoes AI relevant technical capabilities or understand the use cases of it, it helps in making decisions for larger organizations. When they go into the corporate world and start working, it has been decision making. It also helps in driving innovation and entrepreneurship, I'd say, because when you are talking about innovation and entrepreneurship, you can automate several mundane tasks to focus on the more value-added task, which brings in productivity, which has already brought in rationalization, and thereby you are focusing on better innovations or better decision-making power. We talk about digital transformation, even how to use those tools, how to use the tech to make innovative strategies. As some of the examples which I would say, learning an MBA course with an AI course embedded in it helps in bringing efficiency, it helps in bringing in time saving, it helps in bringing innovation for an organization.
Perfect.
Sure.
So,
I completely
lot of
agree.
point, yeah, lot of point, and you have thrown to us like how even the AI based technology can simplify not only students' job but also the jobs of faculty members or the academic staff as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
again, a follow-up question to Lalit would be that in what specific ways AI technologies enhance learning experience for UPS on students like who are studying with us or who might be our prospect students,
Hmm.
especially who are working professionals because they usually have lesser time as compared to a regular student who's coming to the campus every day and
Mhm.
attending the class. So how AI can help an online MBA student?
Okay, so I think the couple of pointers which Sandeep also mentioned, the way I can help personalize the program. One thing that people really worry about, in a classroom program versus an online program, is that you get that interactions with the teachers and the fellow students and so on. I think what AI can bring in, and it has brought in many programs that we deliver and elsewhere also. One is, you don't have to wait for the next class to go to the teacher and ask your questions. And I'm not talking about posting on Q&A forums because it's an online platform. Now, as Sandeep also mentions, that AI driven chatbot is kind of dehumanizing the interactions and it's much more human like. These AI solutions, I should say, are very context aware. It's like trying to find answer in your reading material, but then now there is an assistant which can go through that entire piece and piece together a very informed answer for you. That is, one-way communication where you are asking some question and an answer comes in front of you. Other than that, right, a lot of MBA students need to work on communication, and that is where a classroom interaction helps them a lot. You can do that, practice these things again with an AI solution where you try to answer a question. You can actually ask the AI solution, the chatbot, to reframe your responses in a better way. And now this helps a lot of students who might be hesitant in communicating their thoughts for whatever reasons, maybe in front of their peers. But now they
Absolutely.
can do that in a very no judgmental way and improve on how they put across their thoughts. They can make it content heavy. Any kind of customization that you want to bring in into your responses, an AI chatbot can help you there. Another
Yes.
thing, so just the last point there, is these days a lot of new topics keep on coming up, right? AI in itself is a very evolving field, and then this
Yeah.
ever evolving nature of things is not limited to just AI. Any field you pick, new technologies come in, new ideas come in, and you don't right away have books for it, right? Very
Absolutely.
informed discussion around it.
Mhm.
AI chatbots can create that material ready for you with coming from very disparate sources, which probably a author used to do earlier, right?
Mhm.
And I see this happening in a more structured way when probably AI in education matures a little more. But these are really promising things which AI can offer to online MBA students. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I think I echo with both of you on this. Like, there was a survey by Accenture which suggests that almost 63% of the customer expect personalization. So I think AI also helps in personalizing content, and I think going forward, the learning management softwares also will be helping students in creating or curating content related to their personal expectations or customizing the content as per their requirement. So as the
Right.
data
Just to
gets the
add
learning
another, just
yeah,
just to add one more
yeah.
point here on the personalization front. So
Mhm.
you can actually convert the content in a style that makes sense most to you.
Wow.
You don't really have to go out and ask your teacher to prepare the content, make it more technical or simplify it. There is a term LI5, explain like this
Hmm.
as if I'm
Hmm.
a 5 year old. You can
Hmm.
actually ask chatbots to do that to whatever content or whatever reading material that you're going through.
Great, great.
Right.
That actually will help. I mean, faculty members like us to make our jobs and lives easier in
Definitely.
explaining a
Yeah.
lot of things to the students these
Yeah.
days. But I mean, absolutely great that you highlighted this out here. Again, my next question to Lalit, you only would be
Okay.
that how can you highlight that online MBA learning programs or an online MBA students who, let's say, who enroll in an MBA program
Mhm.
with the use of AI knowledge or understanding about AI can drive innovation and competitive advantage in their organization? So, like somebody who is working in an organization who is now enrolled for an MBA, how and why he can, from where he can learn AI, how AI will help him in his business, because already
Mhm.
majority of the online learners who enroll with us are working in some industry.
Right.
So how the AI thing will help them in the business? Because what till now is I mean considered is like AI is a very complex thing. It uses a
Mhm.
lot of data, algorithms and coding and programming, all those stuff. So how a
Right.
management graduate will be able to use that AI thing in his business?
Okay, I'll echo Sandeep's thought on this that there is no domain which has remained untouched by AI, right? And so it's like everybody needs to be aware of Excel. We take that as for granted now, right?
Mhm.
You don't have to be a technical person to know Excel in your job, something that you take for granted. So is making presentations. And that is where, so fields like which were traditionally very considered creative and very people oriented, like marketing and human resources, now have AI as a very key component of there. So as
Yeah.
an MBA student, as I said, that AI is something which helps you in automating decision process. And as managers, whether it is at the middle manager role or at the top stakeholders, if you're involved in this decision making process, you need to be very aware of how AI can play a role to make that either faster or more efficient. for doing to awareness doesn't require you to be hands-on with programming and building these solutions. What you need to know is what AI can do for you and what are the pitfalls. And that is what we try to teach at UPS on MBA and AI collaboration. That what are the capabilities and functionalities which AI brings in, and how you integrate that into the processes that you're involved in. And in this era, if your organization is not making use of AI in some sense, 2, 3 years down the line, you will start to see the impact that has on the business. So even if your organization is not currently making use of an AI, as a manager, it becomes your responsibility to bring that in. And that is where we come in as educators to help you in doing that. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
the bottom line is you cannot do without AI as a person and as a business. So earlier you join this race, or you will be lagging behind. That's my take on this. Sandeep, would you like to add something to it?
Yes, yes, very interesting perspective you brought in, Lalit, because statistics. I think I've read a report from McKinsey wherein companies or organization who are adopting AI are 33% more valued. So their valuation are more because they are. So it has. That's why it's called as a general purpose technology, wherein it is impacted everywhere. And those who are into it, they are jumping into it. If you see the startup which are funding or investing in AI, those organizations close to 30 to 40 billion of funding over the last 3 to 4 years. So
Wow.
that's the so it is, I would say, as a competitive advantage for the organization if you are leveraging on AI. Yeah,
Right.
because
Correct.
the and why I would say and fully agree here also the customer behavior. It's changing. It is no longer about automotive owning a car. It's about mobility. That's
Right.
why when the behaviors, when the expectations are so dynamic,
Right.
uh, how do you customize to that particular, how do you keep that customer engaged, keep that, because stickiness is what we call about, is through personalized offering, what is in for me. So
Absolutely.
that's how I think it has a very, very big impact right now in every sector. Yeah.
True, true. Yeah, so the one factor which Sandeep pointed out, that the speed of, how dynamic customer behavior is, things change. You cannot uh, make just people responsible for responding to that,
Yeah.
right? So some kind of automation
Absolutely.
has to come in through that
Absolutely.
data. Yeah.
I think more translates into the AI helping people in making their jobs and lives easier, whether it is writing an email or whether doing some Excel based thing or spreadsheet based thing, or making up creative or fantastic presentation, marketing pitch as well.
Right. And that
Uh,
presentation things is so amazing now. Right.
yeah,
I used to, break my head over finding the right visuals and so on. Now I can
yeah,
make, right, and in
absolutely.
seconds.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's been amazing.
Absolutely. Again, I'm coming back to Sandeep, you again for this. That can you provide some of the examples, because you were been in this digital transformation across industries, across sectors for quite a long time, and I hope you have seen this how AI now being implemented in industries as well. So, can you tell us some examples, or in fact, successful examples of AI in specific business context that at least our students or whoever the participants here in the webinar can also learn and understand about? So, can you tell us some specific AI application examples?
Yeah, I'd say from my career spanning from last 20 years around, there has been a massive change. I remember during my college days when the first time there was a deep blue, AI based, we call it as the AI based, it's actually an expert system, which has the expert system is basically which codes ifs and buts, so if this is
Mhm.
the, then that is the solution. So
Scenario, yeah.
it's not a typical AI, but I remember Deep Blue first being getting defeated by Gary Kasparov, that time the reigning champion in
Yeah.
1996, and then later on the programmers did furthermore algorithm in 1997. Deep Blue defeated Gary Kasparov. That's a from
Oh,
that time onwards till I also remember, if you know about AlphaGo.
Right, yeah.
AlphaGo was a deep mind. That was not expert system. From expert system to modern AI is what I will say. It studies the pattern. It studied Les Doll, who was 18 years champion, and defeated him, I think, 4 out of 5 times in his. So that's what it is. Adaptive. It is learning. It is studying the pattern. And there is a move 37. You can Google it out. Also, what move 37, and wherein it was no human being can think about how the system the first time defeating Lesser was the 18-time champion. So that's a transition. That's a big change which has happened for the last 20 years. And similarly, it has impacted also all the sectors. And why? If you talk about the why part of it, if you see in the last decade or last 5 to 7 years, to be more precise, the storage, so basically AI needs huge data, right? The data needs to be stored somewhere. So the space cost has reduced, again, study from McKinsey, from $12 5-6 years back per GB to 0.004 cents now. So the space cost has decreased. The computing power has increased by 10K, I think 10,000 times it has increased.
Right.
The computing power has increased. So the cost of prediction has reduced.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why the exponential, why is it? It's not that it has suddenly come. It has been there for long. The data which we are collecting from, I was from automotive, wherein we are collecting from IoT, industrial IoT, devices, wherein we are capturing lots of data. And so more and more people are collecting data, be it in sense in your cars, be it in every places across the world, be it in energy system, be it in in service industry. So we are capturing this data. So the growth of data has been exponential, because of which the penetration has happened. Now, if we talk about some of the business context, so we talked about chatbots. So customer service, chatbots, routine queries have been handled over by the AI. Customer answers, problem solving has been handled over. We talk about predictive analysis. Let's say when we talk about sales and marketing, it can analyze the customer behavior. It can say what strategy should be put on, what campaign should be put on, which date, when should be put on. We have examples. So the loyalty card or the membership card which Starbucks or any other organization gives is actually collecting data of what the preferences are, what I am shopping, where I am shopping. So based on that, it can build in more and more its campaigns. So that is an example. You talk about supply chain optimization. Classic case of supply chain. You have heard of lots of startups called Lucius, the meat. They're providing organization. Big success. They have a wonderful startup leveraging on AI. How they have different distribution centers. So their AI models predict in advance for those places where they do not have a distributing centers. When will the demand be there? Based on the demand, they supply also 2 days in advance to the distribution centers. So that's how they avoid wastage. Wishes has reduced the wastage from standard 40% to just 3% is of the wastage for the meat.
Amazing.
Amazon, the moment they have a one-click button option, wherein the moment the customer clicks, their algorithms can predict that customer is going to buy that product or not, and in their warehouses, they use robotics to start packing those materials. In the US, in India, it is not somewhere, but in 2 hours there is a delivery. So how do they manage the entire supply chain? So that is also wonderful supply chain optimization through adoption of AI. You talk about finance. Every sector, Bloomberg, for example, the way they give research prediction, the way they sell those research, so they use lots of AI-based tools for doing that. You talk about dashboarding, Power BI, you talk about Tableau, wherein they are using AI to give you valuable insights. It's not just numbers. It is using data visualization, extracting the insights and providing a trends. RPA, for example, the intelligent, I'm not talking about the dumb RPA, which is just do 1 or 2. It is the intelligent RPA which can learn. It is the IQ bot which we talk about. So first you automate, automation anywhere, path, for example. These are some examples which we talk about RPA cases. Come to HR. I can keep on going. HR.
No. It's a great, interesting.
Resume screening, candidates matching. Do you think the person is going to sit there and going to do that? It takes huge amount of time, the number of applications. So AI is a very good use case. You talk about very interesting. I come from a finance background. We talk about fraud and risk monitoring. So basically AI is what? Those are algorithms which can perform tasks that require human intelligence, right? Like learning, like reasoning, like problem solving, decision making. So if a human is doing those screening part of it or studying the pattern based on which will raise the flag, it will take huge amount of time. AI has radically eliminated that fraud detection or security related, wherein banking sectors are able to generate 30% reduction in the humans going through those patterns, identifying where the frauds are, and eliminating the biases.
Right.
One more, I will say, healthcare, huge, massive. When you talk about AI intervention for healthcare, it can do diagnosis. The reports which the doctors normally manually do it, it doesn't need a doctor to be done. So those are the diagnostic reports can be processed through AI. It can more, accurately detect whether a cancer would be. That it can do predictive suggestions
Yeah.
to the patients
So
also.
these
Yeah,
days we
go
have
ahead.
solutions where a radiology AI can perform the task with 99% accuracy
Yeah.
in comparison to a human radiologist with 95% accuracy.
Okay.
Wow.
And pushing that 4% is a huge task, which
Yeah.
AI can
Absolutely.
do now.
Absolutely.
Radiology and medical imaging AI is making a lot of headway. One point that I wanted to add here, of course, the infrastructure cost, which Sandeep mentioned, they have greatly reduced, and the efficiency has gone up by thousands of factors. Another thing which has happened, I remember when we started Advancer, it's been more than a decade now. The field was driven by likes of SaaS and SPSS, proprietary softwares. SaaS licensing used to be what, 2-3 CR a year. A smaller organization cannot even, dream of
Yeah.
having those kind of incurring those kind of licensing cost. Now the entirety of the AI technologies and adoption is driven by Python and languages like R and so on, which are free. And it's free is not it's just not the cost. Because it is free, it is accessible by huge number of people. You have huge amount of pool and communities which support the adoption more and more, and that has been one of the drivers which kind of helped democratizing the AI adoption. The
Yeah.
cost of AI adoption is now very, very low, both in terms of
Correct.
infrastructure as well as these software costs, which used to be on the tune of 3 CR for one license. Imagine that. So, yeah, I mean, the ecosystem is very mature and it is ripe for any organization. The only thing which can probably stop them from it is the inertia of old practices.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So another follow-up question from you, Sandeep, that what are the skill and knowledge areas do MBA students, especially the online MBA students, need to focus on effectively leveraging AI in their career?
So while implementation of AI is a very important aspect of it, it comes with lots of other additional skill sets, which I suggest
Yep.
the student should also be aware of, like business acumen. You cannot bring in things if it is not, if you talk about the ROIs, if you're talking about the numbers, and I'm a number guy,
Yes.
so if the numbers do not match, then it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
If I cannot bring a elephant to kill a ant,
Absolutely.
so something like that. Similarly, you talk about, project management. Project management skill should be there. You need to understand how to execute a project, the quality gates and all. We talk about communication because while and networking. So when we are learning these skills, you have to also communicate. You have to also network with people. We have to have follow leader, be it Elon Musk, be it anybody for that matter. We have to follow. So we have to do networking. We have to do continuous learning. We have to do adaptability and so on and so forth. Now, the other skill set would be, while we may not be technically, as Lalit started with that, sound in that, but we should understand the nuances of AI and the use cases of AI. So more and more reading, understanding where it can be used, how it can be used. So fundamental knowledge of AI and where it can be applied in financial accounting, for example, or we talk about risk management or talk about data-driven insights should be known, should be studied, should be understood. Also, I would say, there are lots of cyber security, awareness. People should be aware that why is data security important? Why is cyber security important? So this all should be going hand in hand. I cannot go and talk about AI if I don't know about these nuances, if I don't know about leadership. Leadership and change management also very important. This is how to lead an organization for AI-driven technologies. there was a very nice case. General Motors, during one time, he saw RPA during 1990s, as a very big thing or as a fad during that day. He replaced his entire, machine line through bots, through RPA machines. The smart manufacturing, it was not a smart manufacturing, it was RPA, automated manufacturing. Huge failure. He lost billions because that time he didn't understood the need. He couldn't fit in into that. It was a fad. He implemented that. He could have bought his competitors by that money. So the money spent in the production line, because he needed people for the inspection, he needed people for the assembly. So it was not a full process. So we have to understand, how do you bring in a change? What are the implications? What are the ethical consideration? Ethical consideration is a very important part of AI. Yeah. So these are some of the things. I think the skill set should go hand in hand in terms of data literacy, AI literacy, and in terms of continuous learning, in terms of problem solving. So now you hit a problem. How can you think, critically? How can you apply your analytical skills to solve this problem? Yeah, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
True. And to add here, I think when it comes to AI, people need to be aware that there are levels of expertise. The moment you mention AI being part of your job, you start thinking, or common sentiment, I would say, not everybody might have that, is that you need to know programming, you need to know math. Yes. I mean, but I wouldn't say that's true for everybody. For example, if you want to drive a car, you don't necessarily need to know how to build an engine.
Build a car. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
The more required thing is your awareness of the roads and the traffic around you and the traffic laws and so on. And that comes to AI also. Of course, there is a
Correct.
need for engineers to build the car. Yes. But the way a user is going to use a car needs a different kind of expertise. A user which is building engine doesn't necessarily going to be an expert in driving the car, right? So what point which Sandeep mentioned, that from a manager's perspective, you need to be very aware of the possibilities which AI brings in, as well as the pitfalls. And you should be able to connect those solutions to your business process. As Sandeep rightly mentioned, and will not bring an elephant to kill an ant. So don't
Correct.
go for implementation of AI for the sake of it. Use it as any other business tool to solve your business problems. You might not need chat GPT or neural networks to solve a problem. Can a simple dashboard do that? Then go for it, right? Instead of कि नहीं यार, random forest ही लगाना है मेरे को,
Absolutely.
and so be comfortable with the idea that you don't have to have mathematics and programming knowledge. Okay, if you have that, then probably your career will take a different direction. Okay, but the awareness of AI and how to connect it with the business is a very important skill set. And taking a decision where you need the hammer or where you need the drill is more important, I would say.
Absolutely. In fact, like it is like I might not be knowing the exact definition of internet, but still we use internet. So it
Oh,
is like
yeah.
there are a lot of apps there. It is less which suits you, your business operation, or which suits your profile, how to make your job simpler with the use of PP, making whether it is making PPT, whether using Excel, or whether it's creating even a dashboard.
Right. And I think more and more it's becoming not a question of having an edge over others. It's
Mhm.
becoming a question of lagging behind others if if you don't have that awareness.
Absolutely,
And that's
absolutely.
going to, I would say, uh, become more and more important in coming years as this is spreading across organizations.
Yeah, so I think there are some students' questions or participant questions as well. So
Mm.
I will try to address those in the maybe when we are at the almost verge of the completion of this webinar. But again, I would like to ask you, Lalit, that
Yep.
can you highlight how online learning MBA student can leverage AI knowledge to drive innovation and competitiveness, especially, and what are the potential ethical consideration. Because see, I was watching this news and I thought of asking you question about AI. Is people who are talking about sovereign AI, like
Mhm.
India should have its own AI, US has its own, and because there is a lot of data involved in it. Similar is the case with, I think, businesses also. So, what is the ethical consideration surrounding the use of AI in business, and
Okay.
how MBA online programs can help in this addressing this concern as well?
Okay, I think so. I think there are multiple aspects to the question. First, so when you say ethical concern, I'll go one level down and consider that how these algorithms or AI solutions are learning. And as
Mhm,
Sandeep mentioned, essentially whatever a human intelligence can do by looking at data and extracting patterns, AI can do that better and faster. Okay,
mhm,
not bringing in the few short learning, I would say, where my daughter, if when I tell her what is a bottle, probably 2 3 times, and she's good at it. But if I try to teach an AI algorithm what is a bottle, probably I'll need thousands of examples, right?
absolutely.
Now, when it comes to the ethical considerations and how they arise,
Mhm,
if there is a traditional bias in the system process, that will be reflected in AI solutions also. For example, in the US, when they try to implement AI solution as a help for judges in making the decision faster, uh,
mhm.
black population were consistently getting higher prison terms because
Okay.
that bias probably already existed in the system. So
Yeah.
that's the ethical
Mhm,
thing that we are trying as a society, we are trying to come out of those biases.
mhm,
But if we try to use the old data to build AI solutions, it will
mhm,
exaggerate those biases. And if they remain in the system and that data is backfed to the newer AI models, that bias will keep on getting exaggerated, right? That is where the new age AI managers need to be aware of it. That if the
mhm,
system and the processes were biased earlier, and we are using the same data to train these new age models, those biases are going to be there, and they need to
mhm,
think about how to balance that. So that is where the ethical concern comes from. It is from the data. It's a data issue. It's not an algorithm issue per se, I would say, largely, although that is debatable. Some
mhm,
algorithms, exaggerate biases more versus the other. But I think it's a
mhm.
different branch of discussion, I would say, not for
Yeah,
the.
yeah,
But what you can
absolutely.
better control is the data part.
Data
What are
part.
the other aspects of the question that I missed?
Yeah, no, I mean, it is like more in terms of the ethical consideration, because like people are also scared of this technology. So what is the ethical aspect related to, and you have rightly
Okay.
highlighted about this thing, like how we can focus on making the data more relevant, and how we can actually
So I
leverage
would
data
like
and
to add
reduce
another.
biases. So where there, I think human comes in picture. Yeah.
I'll tell you how these kind of data biases can sneak in, right?
Mhm.
Another example, so the example of the judiciary system, I said it's very obvious, right?
Mhm.
One of the reasons it was not implemented or discontinued because it's very obvious. You can look at it.
Mhm. Mhm.
I would tell you, when before Advancer, I was working as a credit risk analyst, and
Mhm.
this was for a firm which was into micro lending in UK.
Mhm.
And so we were building credit risk models. And
Mhm.
as a regulatory perspective, you cannot
Mhm.
uh, deny somebody credit based on their ethnicity. In fact,
Correct.
ethnicity cannot be part of the
Mhm.
data which you're using to build your models. And
Yes.
everybody was very much aware, okay? It's not
Mhm.
something morally you cannot do it, it's a regulatory issue,
Mhm.
and so on. But when we actually built the model, without keeping the ethnicity. You're not allowed to do it anyway.
Mhm.
Our model was biased towards certain geographical areas. And when we dig deeper, why is that happening? Certain areas are much likely
Mhm.
not get credit, access to the financial instruments that we were uh, distributing. The reason was that those areas were where certain financially not so well doing ethnicities lived in.
Oh,
So indirectly, your model is biased.
biased.
That can sneak up on you, and as managers you need to keep on thinking how that bias can come in, and you need to correct for it. So it might
Absolutely.
not be as obvious as the judiciary example.
Mhm.
There can be proxies for things that we do not want to discriminate on the basis of.
Okay. Sandeep, your take on this? I mean, have you come across anything related to compliance or something related to ethical issues related to AI?
I wouldn't say that my experiences with ethical issues more than that. It was more to about the resistance, from when we were doing a transformation and all. How is the
Mhm.
resistance for that? Because while we talk about a typical, there are what we call AI is the missing middle, right? Wherein one
Mhm.
part which is done by humans, which they are good at,
Humans,
emotions, and the other part
Mhm.
which are done by complete machines. So when you talk about
Machines.
machines, it can be automating and bringing in mundane steps, repetitive steps can be automated.
Mhm.
Now there is a conglomerance of convergence of this middle part, the missing middle, and that's the part wherein humans and AI plays an equivalent role. If you talk about autonomous driving, for
Correct.
example,
Correct.
wherein the Tesla, for example, in that case, the driver is driving and the machine is learning from the driver how the driver is driving. So it should be collaborative and nature, but there again, there are lots of myths created, and again, it could be a separate topic wherein AI is taking away our jobs, AI is
Mhm.
making us redundant. So those
Mhm.
all I have had several experiences, whether we call it as ethical, maybe no, but
Mhm.
moral, yeah, because you are laying off, you are removing your for productivity.
Yes.
But the question
Yes.
is, we have to ask ourselves whether those activities which humans are doing is it repeatable in nature. If it is repeatable,
Absolutely.
then it will be replaced. If it
Right.
is,
Yes.
that's how you bring the value add to it. So when a
Mhm.
fraud detection is done through an AI, you can bring in
Mhm.
more ways of identifying how you can check the or contribute towards the banking sector in terms of how can you give your value add in bringing in more efficient customer specific financing to the customer. So that mindset, that the cultural mindset wherein we talk about AI is has a very big pushback, is which I have several times. So I will say AI equips you with superpowers, and
Mhm.
how you use the superpowers is something
It,
that challenge I have
that
faced. Yeah.
depends. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, like I go to you on this is like uh, uh, we have a lot of programs related to and across sectors. Like we have programs related to oil and gas. We have programs on power management. We have programs related to renewable energy. We have programs related to logistics and supply chain operations, marketing, and so many masters or MBA programs per se in online mode. But it is like we are giving them this AI for every one kind of module as a value add. So
Mhm.
that actually I think will help them using AI and applying AI in their respective areas or domains. So it
Yeah.
is this AI tool or understanding or knowledge of AI and applying that in their respective areas. So that is something which will help them in not only understanding and aligning with their domain, but also using the latest of the technologies and applying those in the business so that you are relevant, not just relevant, but also helps you in getting more sustainable uh, going forward. I will bring in Lalit. Again, a question to you: how do you foresee the role of AI evolving within the business landscape? because I mean, you are working on this, and how you are seeing that how the businesses will be going forward using the AI, because we are, I think, we are seeing a lot of transformations in terms of business. We are witnessing industry 4.0 revolution, where companies are using IoT, applying blockchain in their financial systems, and they are using various other cloud-based systems. 3D printing is also being used in developing models, etc. And based on that, they are building construction sites, and even I have read the news about a complete post office being built on a 3D printer based model in
Right.
India.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how AI is being looked for and looked forward in terms of
Uh,
business landscape.
of course, penetration of AI across different tasks is something that is unstoppable. In some cases, it will be feasible. In some cases, it might fail due to the cost and implementation issues, but we are moving forward there. On the larger business practices side, what I am seeing happening right in front is business communication is changing a lot. So especially in a multilingual country like India, there used to be a lot of I would say communication gap at times, and people spending a lot on just communicating the way you spend an hour writing an email or
Mhm,
2 days on building a presentation.
mhm,
That's after a while, when you're writing your first, probably it feels like a good thing to do, but when you're writing a hundredth,
mhm.
it's not something that you feel very, I would say, creatively involved in the process. And that
Correct.
is where AI kind of, as Sandeep mentioned, it's taking the mundane out of
Mhm,
your job so that you can, put your energies to better usage, the things which probably an AI cannot do. That is where, AI is making its way. Another thing is that over last 10, 15 years, this usage of internet and so on kind of expanded the business, but it also created a lot of silos within the companies, within organizations. And many a times, multiple teams within organizations might be having very similar kind of discussions and solutions.
mhm.
Essentially, reinventing the wheel for a better word, and for the lack of a better word. So therein now AI is making its way. It's still in infancy, but I think this could be a big thing going on. AI coming into becoming part of business planning and
Mhm.
breaking these silos where
Okay.
all your meetings are also generating data, right? And
Correct.
so I think streamlining that will break the silos, and organizations will become much more efficient. People
Mhm.
complaining this meeting could have been an email, probably it will be.
Mhm. Correct. Correct.
Those are
Correct.
two very, very big areas which will make things better from an operations perspective in a business, which might not be, I don't know, worth the hype, but I think it's going to have a huge impact.
Yeah. So I think there are a couple of student queries also, or questions. I would read out at least few of them so that they also feel that they are connected. Question number one is like, there is a participant who is asking, can an online MBA help me start a business too? So your takes, I mean, it's open for both the speakers. From my point of view, yes, but I will not say and explain because you today are the speakers. So
No, no, no.
I will
Please
give it
feel
to
free to
you on
put
this.
your points across. Uh, my take would be that starting a business requires a lot of skill sets, guts, intuition, and so on. So MBA and online MBAs can bring in some aspect of it, but will it enable to definitely start a business? Unless until you have those other components, it's going to be a challenge but it can bring in. And I would like to take up the second question also, which Rita, you're asking. Is it
Yes.
possible to automate my marketing with AI? If yes, any
Yes.
resources I can look into.
Hmm.
So, yes, why not? For example, a big challenge in marketing used to be uh, copy. Now you can ask ChatGPT to write an ad for you and make it in whatever style you want. You can, with latest offering of text to videos, you can actually create a video ad for your product without incurring the huge cost. Of course, you would want eventually when you become a bigger business, you would want it to be high quality. You would want maybe Shah Rukh Khan in your ads. So before you reach to that level, if you just want to create a video ad quickly, you can do that with AI. You can, and once you start serving ads, you can use AI to build targeted, customized ads. When you run a business and you want to personalize it further, you can build recommendation engines and so on. So, AI is a very integral part of the way marketing is done in today's world, and it has brought down the cost, and it has resulted in loss of jobs also for a lot of copywriters. No denying. I think in US, writers are now on a strike for a while. That companies are using AI created content and so on. So wherever a creative component was involved, now it is in within reach of AI, and I think marketing is not any different there.
I'll
Absolutely. In
just like
fact,
to
I
add,
yeah,
just
yeah.
to add
Please,
to
please,
that,
Gandhi.
for the second question, marketing, we have so many lovely use cases. Talk about Google, the biggest, the way they market, the way they mine the data. You just type some words and it will tell you what you are going to search. You talk about any other, Amazon, for example. You talk about Netflix, the way they are using. So all those are target driven or persuasive marketing, or make matter. Every, omni-channel or e-commerce platform, you click on that, from and to locations, and then it will understand the clicks, it will send you reminders that you have unleft. So there are lots of use cases wherein targeted marketing, personalized marketing, you talk about Spotify, for example, all those cases. So I would say AI has a very big use case, and Google is a very good example, and Amazon is also very wonderful example wherein it gives you what are the possible discounts, based on your choices, and also you can target your marketing specific to that segment, customer segment.
Yeah. And Rita, you were asking for some resources for creating the marketing content. I think OpenAI API, not API, the model which is able to create visuals as well as very stylized content, it costs $20 a month.
Mhm.
And it creates content, marketing content for you instantly. And if you go about hiring people to do the same, it will cost you much more than $20. So go for
I think they have come up with this Sora,
it. Right.
the
So
OpenAI
that might
platform.
cost you a little
So,
more
hmm.
uh, and get.
But the way I have seen some of the videos, they are like flawless. I mean,
Oh yeah.
fantastic. They are,
So
and
there
in
is
fact, I
Google.
mean,
Google has come up with the DeepMind from their, Google DeepMind has created Genie. You just put
uh,
some text and images. It will create a video game for you. You don't need a designing
wow,
also expertise. So that is the,
fantastic.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
now, I mean, we as humans have to think beyond that, and we have to use our intellect over and above what
Yeah.
now the.
Yeah, that's
So
what our expertise is, isn't it?
yeah,
Mhm.
Right? Our
we are not
expertise
made to
isn't just
make
replicating.
repetitive things. Yeah, we are always have been innovative. We are always a seekers. We have always we had made the machines, we have given the
Yes,
data, we have done the program. So we
absolutely.
have to move on and go to the higher mass in the hierarchy
Right.
of needs. You have to move in the higher up in the ladder. Yeah, that's
Right.
all.
I think AI
Correct,
is
correct.
forcing us to do that, and it's a good
Yeah.
thing. Right?
Good
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. So I think there is one more question by a student. I think uh, one of the participant is asking, what are the technical requirements for participant in AI enhanced online MBA? So, is there any
I think
technical requirement?
no,
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
think it's
Just a
Go ahead.
browser. I think this is getting delivered to you.
Yeah.
So all that from your end, you would need a browser and a machine on which you can open that. That's all.
Mm.
If you mean to become an AI expert, what are the technical things that you need to learn? From a manager's perspective, you don't really need to learn programming or maths per se. So I wouldn't say any technical requirement per se. But yeah, the inertia of old practices might stop you. So
Mm.
just be open to
Absolutely.
new things. At least consider that, yeah. I mean, some
Mm.
things can be done differently. And yeah, that's my take there.
Okay, Sandeep, I again want to ask one question that what would you advise online learning students, especially who are with us or who want to or aspire to do an MBA with us in an online mode, uh, pursuing career related to AI in business, and highlight some of the specific industries or sectors where the synergy of an MBA and an I mean understanding or knowledge of AI will merge and develop a kind of skill set. I mean, we have certain examples, and you have shared it like from supply chain to marketing to human resource. But can you highlight certain sectors who are actually very fast advancing and adopting this artificial intelligence based technology, at least in India?
Yeah. So I will summarize whatever I've said, because in
Mm,
earlier questions, I tried to give some references. So what are if you ask me, what are the, advice, the only thing what I would suggest is to have a strong foundation. The core MBA is the most important part of it.
mm,
So the core MBA, when we're talking about strategic management, you are talking about entrepreneurial skills, you are talking about
mm,
marketing, you are talking about finance, you're talking about leadership. So that
mm.
foundation needs to be strong. While this may look
Correct.
very lucrative, it is very
Mm,
lucrative. It is very it is going to happen. Only the base needs, the foundation needs to be very strong. That is the
mm,
first part of it. Second part, while we do not specialize, read, make,
mm,
have a mentor. If you can
mm,
get in your organization somebody who understands AI, who actually understands, many people are using jargons, but those
mm,
people who actually understand the use cases of it, have a mentoring, have a mentorship done, try to build portfolio, do more and more practical exams, so apply the theory to practical,
mm,
so build your portfolio, focus
mm,
on the soft skills. Communication is
mm,
something very important. Networking is something. Relationship building is very important, because those all
mm,
will help stay updated, stay relevant. Hands-on
mm,
experience, or while we do not need to be a technical leader, but basic understanding of what AI is and how it works. We
mm,
talk about deep learning, we talk about machine learning. So if you ask,
mm.
we have to understand what is the difference between ML and deep learning. Well, deep learning
Deep
use
learning.
unstructured data,
Mm,
images, or voice, like facial recognition and all. ML is more of using structured data. So we have to
mm,
understand a little bit of what is ML. We cannot use loosely the machine learning and deep learning part of
mm,
it. So machine
mm,
learning is more of prediction based on patterns, so on and so
mm,
forth. So those are some of the things which as a student needs to focus on. When we talk about industries,
mm,
we talked about several sectors. While obviously the
mm,
most predominant would be the retail and e-commerce. Amazon, very very big strong use
yeah.
cases. You talk about Netflix, you talk about Amazon, you talk about Facebook, you
Mm,
talk about Google. Very very strong use cases. They are the dadas. They are not owning
mm,
any inventory, but they are the way they are revolutionizing the entire business. Absolutely great. We talk about manufacturing
mm,
automobile is very big use case of because there and more you have to deliver to the customer the experiences. You are having so many sensors in a car. How are you seeing the pattern? How are you understanding those patterns? How are you delivering an in-house or within the car experience, the experience to the user? Very important. So manufacturing or automotive is a very big use case. You talk about Tesla, for example. We talk autonomous driving, a very big use case of AI. I, I recently read, now they have also developed algorithm. If they see a football on the road, the in the autonomous driving, they will predict that some child may be running behind that ball. So they have to slow down, they have
oh,
to stop. So
yeah.
Right.
that's the amount, it is keeping on growing, keeping on improving. So I think automobile is a very big use case. Energy sector also. Healthcare, of course, is there. Healthcare to koi shak hi nahi hai. Healthcare, absolutely. And energy, which I've not touched before. You talk about, this big turbines, what are the optimization, when they should operate,
Mm,
when should the lights be off, which
mm,
turbine is generating. We talk about ecosystem, right? In this case, we talk about which
mm,
turbine is generating how much of energy, where
mm,
doing predictive maintenance for automotive sector, doing predictive maintenance for the engineering sector. Because right now, the expectation of the customer is also changing. It is not about, let's say, airline industry. Previously, the airline industry used to buy aircraft, and those Boeing and
mm,
all, they used to service those to the airline industry. Now it is changed.
mm,
Airline industry wants to fly people from
mm.
one place to another. So they are changing their contracts to performance-driven contract, which is uptime of the contract. So how can you ensure, because Boeing has all this information, what is happening in the plane, what part needs to be changed. So that is more and more predictive maintenance. I have to keep that thing on the sky through AI.
Mm.
So I would say
Yes.
many healthcare, manufacturing. You talk about finance. Finance is also a very big use case everywhere. I will not
Mhm.
try to
Mm.
restrict to one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in fact, I mean, we are running out of
The
time,
way,
and I mean,
Yeah,
you have so many examples to share with, and in fact, the programs that we have, especially, and you highlighted about energy sector. So we have a lot of programs related to energy infrastructure, supply chain, logistics, and I mean general management as well. So I mean we have the set of what the subjects you talked about for whether you want to start a business or whether even you want to work in a corporate sector and reach to the higher leadership level. So we have starting just from the first semester the functional subjects such as marketing, HR, economics, and finance, etc. as well. And going further, we have the strategy and especially the domain tailored and domain specific subjects in going forward. So I think that was a very enlightening and insightful discussion. Agmin, my last question to both of you would be, and then we can at least wind up this, that can you share three tips for all these students or participants or aspirants who are willing to make or join an online MBA program here with us? Please, can you share two or three tips for them?
sure. So first, before sharing those tips, I want to mention that in my perspective, AI ML is kind of in a very sweet spot to learn things online. You don't need any specific tools. It's not very abstract. Once you start learning, you'll realize that practices are very straightforward, fact-based. It's something that you can learn online. Now, when coming to the tips, one, as an MBA student, always don't get lost in the technical details. As Sandeep rightly mentioned, that business acumen is something that you need to force yourself to connect the technical details to the business use cases. One, always keep that in mind. Ask your instructors about that. Second, read, and read. Be being updated about what's happening out in the world is very, very, very important. No course in the world is going to teach all of the
All of
possibilities.
things.
So you
Absolutely.
need to build a practice of being informed. Third is uh, don't hold yourself back by thinking that uh, you necessarily need some mathematics background or engineering background to get a leadership or to cater to a leadership role which has an AI component. No, you don't. So if you, I mean, and having interacted with thousands of students so far, it is a big, big factor where people kind of hold themselves back thinking that कि नहीं यार बहुत maths होगा and मुझे programming नहीं आता है, this is not my cup of tea. Don't
Correct.
do that.
Okay, so I think that you highlighted a very important point, and I think Elvin Toffler, the futurist from and published author from US, he also highlighted in a line that illiterate of 21st century will be not those who cannot read and write, but who will be those cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn the things. So I think
Definitely.
keep updating your skills is something which is also very important. And over to you, Sandeep, your insights about this. Any tips for the MBA aspirants
I
here
think
with
Lalit
us?
has covered most of them, so I have one or
Yeah,
two maybe to add, and I fully agree with Lalit about whatever he has said about this. I just want to say some maybe something, some motivation. AI skills will lead. Oxford University has published 40% more salary increase. So it is very very
my God.
impedient that we have to ensure that we are
Yes.
having the competencies first. Second is and UPS on I believe is also offering that participate in workshops, and there are monthly connects wherein you discussing using the theory into practical cases
Practice.
is absolutely important, be it in terms of AI based competitions or be it in terms of hackathons. It is very very important that you participate so that you can apply those theory into practical and get some,
Mhm.
so there is a POC, there is a MVP, so you try to
Mhm.
explore. Experimentation is very very important to understand where the problems are. And lastly, alumni connect. I would say connect with
Yes.
your alumni. And I think UPESon also has this facility wherein
Mhm.
the alumni connect is absolutely necessary because they have gone through this. So instead of
Mhm.
reinventing the wheel, they will be able to guide. If you can get a mentor, that will be even better. So get and some sort of alumni connect. And lastly, I would say read good publications. There are many in Google, but instead of that, go specific. If there is something from McKinsey, for example, or there are
Yeah.
Harvard or Oxford, so
Mhm.
authenticated good quality publication. If you can enroll, or Coursera, I think Coursera is also part wherein
Yes.
UPS on is
Yes.
also
Yes. Yes.
offering very
Absolutely.
reliable. And I think those are so keeping updated and relevant is absolutely necessary in the
Yeah.
longevity for this course.
True, true. The quality of the content that you're
Yeah.
consuming, I think that's a very important point. That
Yes.
now that the world has access to chat GPT, anybody and everybody is writing things.
Hmm.
So yes, the quality of the content is also important. So yes, read, but read good, as Sandeep says.
Correct. In fact, you rightly highlighted Sandeep about Coursera. So we have a partnership with Coursera where they also we have access to I think almost all our students get access to Coursera courses, so they can learn at their own pace the Coursera courses that we have. And you talked about reading. So even the remote learner or an online learner, we have this online library. So all the students who enroll with us, they have and they get an access for online library as well. So whatever part of the world they are, they can read books, articles, research papers, case studies through the online access that we provide.
And these are
So
proprietary books. It's not like something that you can
absolutely,
download
absolutely.
from Google.
They are not on the free web, so we proprietarily have that access. So
Oh,
yes, correct. That is, I don't know about all the participants that we had, but my learning and insight. I got enriched a lot from the today's discussion, and thanks for sharing your insights about the AI part. Uh, Again, because I would just conclude it because already we have scaled the time limit. So I would conclude this by a thank you note. So I sincerely thank you both Lalit and Sandeep for guiding us through such an stimulating discussion on AI and MBA synergy. We have gained a lot in terms of understanding deeper how AI is transforming business, especially me, because although I also try and use and teach a little bit of AI in and how it is applied in my domain, maybe logistics and supply chain, but it was good to have the examples from you that how AI is being actually implemented in other sectors, industries, and the use cases that you talked about. And we have, and you talked about Lalit about the models that you generate and create, and how actually going forward also AI will be making more sense in any and all parts of business or all sectors of business. So AI will definitely be helping in driving innovation. So thank you, thanks both of you for enlightening on that part as well, creating new opportunities, how AI can help create your business, your day-to-day, help you in day-to-day jobs, and all those things related to artificial intelligence and managerial skills. So thank you all for joining us. Hope the insights you gained today will empower you in your future endeavors. I would also like to thank my support team at Delhi. So they are at Gurgaon. So they also help us in creating the link and supporting and communicating this through various mediums, through various platforms, etc. So I would like to thank them as well, and both of you. So thank you everyone for joining in.
So also from our
Take care.
side for
Thank
having
you.
us, and thank you for the interesting questions. And Lalit, thank you for sharing your thoughts. I really appreciate it. Thanks to the entire team for making this possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank you
enjoyed
so much,
it.
Sandeep. Yeah.
And thanks for making this happen.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Sandeep, I have learned from you, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you.
Right.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye. Good day. Good night.